Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's just jump right in. Imagine getting your hands on a blueprint, but not for a house or a skyscraper. A blueprint for a whole new civilization. Sounds wild, right? Well, today we're digging into a document that claims to be exactly that. It's the foundational plan for something called the Akashic Observatory. So, the source material we're looking at today, it really gets you thinking, starting with this huge question. It's not just asking us to, think outside the box. It's basically challenging us to throw the box away and start completely fresh. We're not talking about small tweaks here and there. Nope. This is a proposal for a total rewrite of, well, everything.
All right, so let's dive into this thing. Our first section is all about this blueprint for tomorrow. We're going to unpack what's actually inside this document piece by piece.
Okay, so first things first, what is the Akashic Observatory? What's its core identity? The blueprint actually defines this right up front, and it calls it a cosmic identity.
The document gets really specific about the vibe here. The aesthetic is described as deep space void meets ancient library. Just picture that for a second. The vast, silent darkness of space, but it's filled with all the wisdom of an ancient library. And then you've got these incredible colors, obsidian black, shimmering iridescent blue, and gold, all woven together with sacred geometry. It's meant to feel ancient and futuristic all at the same time. Super cool. But it's not just about looks. The identity goes way deeper. The blueprint talks about a galactic lineage. Think of it like cosmic DNA or ancestry. It says the observatory's core qualities are drawn from three really specific influences: Lyra, Sirius, and Andromeda.
So first up in this lineage is Lyra. This is the architect, the master builder. It represents that raw, creative force, the authority that literally designs and builds the foundations for this new reality. You can think of it as the head engineer for a whole new world. Then we've got Sirius. This influence brings in what the blueprint calls sacred logic and high-frequency tech. It's all about advanced systems and something really interesting called DNA activation. The idea here is that it's about awakening a higher potential that's already inside us. So Sirius is kind of like the wisdom and technology department of the whole operation.
And rounding out the trio is Andromeda. This one represents the end game, the ultimate goal, liberation. We're talking absolute sovereignty, complete freedom from what the document calls 3D scripts. And what does that mean? Well, you can think of those as all the unwritten rules, the limiting beliefs, the old patterns that kind of run our current reality. Andromeda is about breaking free from all of that.
Okay, so now that we have a feel for its identity, what's it actually supposed to do? What's the point? Well, that brings us to its purpose, which the document lays out in a really powerful manifesto. We do not follow existing maps, we create the blueprints for the next civilization. Wow. That quote really says it all, doesn't it? It's such a bold statement. It's not about trying to patch up the old world or follow existing guides. It's about throwing out the old maps entirely and drawing completely new ones.
So the manifesto gets into some specifics. The key goals are things like anchoring first light into physical form, reclaiming our ancient, star-born sovereignty, which is this idea of our own innate freedom, and bridging that gap between what we can see and what we can't. You can see how every single one of these points ladders up to that one ultimate mission, liberation.
Right, so a mission this huge needs a serious plan. So how are they going to pull this off? The blueprint lays out a very specific operational strategy, a three-part strategy. And they call this strategy the triple threat structure. It's broken down into three distinct pillars, each with its own job to do. You've got the broadcast, the blueprint, and the alchemy. Let's see how they all fit together.
And this table here just lays it all out so clearly. You can see each part has a specific function. The broadcast is all about translating cosmic data for everyone, and it's linked astrologically to Jupiter and Gemini, which makes perfect sense. That's all about communication. Then the blueprint, that provides the actual structures for people to live these sovereign lives, and that's tied to that Lyran architect energy we talked about. And finally, the alchemy. This is the deep inner work, facilitating soul transformation, and it's connected to the intense energy of Scorpio and Pluto. So each pillar has a clear job and its own cosmic engine, so to speak.
Okay, so you have the what, the why, and the how, but what about the when? A plan is great, but a plan with a timeline? That's serious. And this blueprint points to a very specific moment for its global impact launch.
The activation window is set for December 2025, and it's not a random date. It's timed to coincide with three massive astrological transits that are happening then. First, you've got Saturn and Neptune meeting at 0 degrees of Aries, which is known as the world point,
a huge trigger for new beginnings. Then you have Jupiter in Cancer, which is supposed to heal what's called the exile wound, turning that feeling of being an outsider into a source of authority. And to top it all off, Pluto in Aquarius is driving this massive call for community-led innovation and tearing down old systems of control. It's basically a perfect cosmic storm to launch something this big.
So let's just recap for a second. The crucial thing to get here is that this document isn't just a bunch of cool, floaty ideas. No way. It's a complete top-to-bottom vision. It lays out the identity, a huge mission, a concrete three-part plan, and even a specific timeline for activation. The whole shebang.
And that pretty much brings our explainer to a close. It's a fascinating look into this blueprint for a new reality. And it leaves us with one final thought. A question inspired by the source material itself, not just for them but for you. If you were handed the pen, if you are an architect of a new world, what would be in your first blueprint?